Hello, you beautiful musicians, and welcome to Music Talks. I'm Mack, founder of Musician Guidance and Music Talks host. Today, we will be talking all about life as independent artists. And to join us in the discussion today, we have the honor and privilege to be joined by an independent band that I've been blessed to watch and grow over the last decade or so. They are a high-spirited, fiery pop rock group that have stepped into the limelight as one of the music industry's most vibrant bands. With big plans and a bigger drive, it is my honor to introduce Dan, Don, and Rich from Encore. How are you guys doing today?
Hey everybody!
Hello.
Thank you guys so much for having us. Yeah, we're doing great. Yeah, we're really excited to be here and participate in the podcast.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm excited to hear that. And I'm super excited for this episode too, because we talk all the time. We're always bouncing ideas off of each other. And the one thing I really admire about you guys and all of independent artists and bands is that you put in hard work. I mean, it's bloody hard to be an independent band in this day and age. You got to market for yourselves. You guys got to book gigs, manage your social media accounts, and about 20 other things. And I know you guys have had some great successes and also some situations where maybe, a manager or other team member was not up to the level that Encore strives to be. And how situations like that do unfortunately come about in everyday life as an independent artist. So in this episode, we're going to dive into that and the nitty gritty of what music fans don't see, but what independent artists and bands like yourself have to overcome on a daily basis. Before we dive into all of that though, I'd like to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves, maybe share your role in the band and how long you've been making music together. Dawn, we can start with yourself.
For sure. Yeah. So I'm Don. I'm the lead singer of Encore. I've been kind of in this group since we started back in 2016. And I started off just doing a lot of songwriting, and at the beginning the songs weren't that great, but you periodically get better with it. Just try to keep learning and kind of continuously find your own niche and where your creative path kind of goes. So I've been doing a lot of songwriting, and the last 3 years, about a year before the pandemic, I started to really get into audio production. So I do all the production stuff for us as well. But aside from that, it's just like to have fun and rock out with these two lovely boys.
Lovely boys. I love it. Rich.
Yeah, I guess we started a little while back, and it's definitely been quite the journey. I think I was reflecting on this the other day. It's actually been 8 singles so far. So it goes down and a lot more to go from there.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely been a pretty fun and crazy journey with these two guys, and couldn't have asked for better partners along the way. So
Love to hear. And just for those listening in, what's your role in the band?
right now I'm actually the guitarist.
All right on.
So yeah, that's good.
Awesome. And Dan?
I actually joined the band in 2016 to fill in a bass player position, which turned into be quite a long haul. We've been doing this for 5 years so far. It's been amazing. I take care of a lot of the visual / merch designs and little video edits here and there. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you guys for sharing that. And I'd like to kickstart this discussion by learning about the day in the life of Encore, when you guys were first starting out and how that progressed as the band achieved success. And not so much that you've got more opportunities, more clout, more followers, more streams, but also like the behind the scenes of stuff like that, stuff that your fans might not see but want to know, such as logistics of growing a team, or maybe some people trying to take advantage of you guys. Or anything else. I'll kind of leave that question open and anyone can jump in to answer it.
Honestly, I think that the whole independent artist concept for us is kind of evolved, like how our perception of it is. We used to think, right away when, I think probably around 2017, 2018, we were kind of starting to write songs a lot and start to record more music. We're like, okay, guys, we got to get signed. Like, let's go. And that was just like our be all end all goal. So we just kind of said like, that's it. And I think looking back, we didn't have like a why in mind of why we were doing that. Like, why are we getting signed? Why do we want to get signed? Like, are we ready for that stage? And I'm really happy that in the end, like, we are independent right now, and we didn't end up getting signed. I'm happy that like happened, because I think it allowed us as an artist and as a group to kind of figure out what we're trying to do and like what is our why, right? So like when A Day in the Life, when we started, was very much more like kind of like learning stages and evolving of like, okay, like what's our songwriting style? Like, let's write as many songs as we can, 1 a day, 2 a day, whatever we can do. And then as things have progressed, I would say we've reached the point now where it's like we don't have to like worry about like, oh, like what's our sound, what's our vibe, like when we write songs, like how are we trying to like resonate with people, and we're trying to make them feel. So in terms of like a day in the life, I would say it's changed a lot in terms of like how we approach it and how like what our goals are with each thing we do now. I think it's a lot more organized in the terms of like, okay, when we're releasing a song, what are we actually trying to do with this song? Are we just trying to put another song because it's been a little bit too long, or are we actually trying to like share a song with people that makes us feel something that we hope we can share with other people? So as independent artists, I think it's really important to have that kind of mindset and that mentality towards music, because it's so easy to just get lost in as an independent artist, I think, especially compared to even like a label act, because you have like so many different components that you're trying to manage at the same time, right? Like you said, like you're trying to book shows and organize, tours, and write songs, record songs, do social media stuff, have really cool photos and videos that represent what you're doing as an artist. And it's all really, really important to do. So it's so easy to kind of get caught up and tied up in like the craziness of it. But I think it's really important to keep focused. And I think that's what we try to do now every single day is like, okay, what's our why? What are we doing? Let's make sure this has a purpose and make sure it's actually like fulfilling for all of us.
Very cool.
We definitely have much tighter schedule regarding what comes around the year, what's around the corner actually. So we're very scheduled in that way, especially now more than ever. Yeah. Because you gotta be, the more organized you are, the more you'll succeed out there.
There you go. Hit the nail on the head with that. That's awesome. Very cool. And I love hearing that and kind of behind the scenes stuff that as fans we don't hear, because there are always people, and me included, I'll be the first to admit it, that sometimes just jump to conclusions when we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Like personally speaking, I was managing some artists a while back, and what I had to do was act in best interest of them based off struggles they were going through. And so we decided to move in a direction that may have been opposite to what their fans wanted to see. And I know that because I had some brands reach out to me and ask that I could just tell they were puzzled about what we were doing, but I couldn't disclose it because it was just something that was going on behind the scenes. So as much as you're wanting or able to discuss, would you be able to touch on some of the hurdles the band has faced and then how you overcame them that were maybe hidden from your fans, or just hurdles in general?
Yeah. Do you want to take that one maybe?
For sure, yeah. I think definitely along the way, there's kind of like you mentioned, there's always a lot of times where, especially behind the scenes, you work with whether it's new people or you start talks with a lot of people. And I think especially in the like entertainment industry, I think that's like really like, I guess like kind of really like prominent, where it's like you might meet with someone, you might grab a coffee, or you actually might start getting serious meetings, and then it just all falls. And I know especially with the pandemic like occurring, that definitely stalled a lot of talks, especially for whether it was shows or even with meeting people, just because of the traveling restrictions. So yeah, we've definitely had our fair share of like stalled out I guess like partnerships, but we've established a great team, I think, especially as independent artists. So I think that's been the good thing so far.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like this thing where if you find a way to bounce back from any of your hurdles, that's like the real biggest challenge. I'd say that's like the biggest hurdle in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Like I know like Richard was touching on the pandemic, because I would say that was probably one of the biggest hurdles. But like what originally happened is we had plans to go on this tour, and we were in talks with different like management teams and stuff like that. And we were supposed to originally go to Los Angeles and then like Montreal and then Toronto and this big Halifax, like pop festival and stuff. And we had all these plans, right? And then this is like February 2020. So then we released one of our songs called Tell Me, anticipating that this is all going to go down like a month or two later for the early festival season, like around May, June. And, pandemic hits in March, and we were just completely like in literally as quick as a snap, every single thing was just canceled. And a lot of the times like things get moved around, like rescheduled and stuff, but these were just like gone. So it's canceled. Like, they aren't coming back. So like I remember like we felt for quite some time around the pandemic, which I think was the hardest part, because it was during the pandemic where you're isolated, you're on your own. Yeah. So like mentally you're like, you're trying to write songs, but I remember I just couldn't write a song. So I was like, this is like one of the worst experiences, because everything that we've been working on, rehearsing for, and all this stuff for like 6 or 8 months is gone no one's controlling this. Like, this isn't up to anybody. So then that was really hard to find motivation in that time. But I think the way we kind of got out of it was that we tried to switch the focus, and we said, okay, like if everyone's stuck at home in the world, let's try to like talk with people. Let's try to reach out. So I think that was kind of our ability to get out of that hurdle, and was just, okay, like we're feeling really down. A lot of people around the world are feeling really down. Let's see what we can do by reaching out to as many people as we can. That's when we started like chatting with so many people from the Tell Me music video and stuff like that. And it just, I think that was kind of our way to overcome that hurdle,
Definitely.
which I think our biggest experience, for me at least, I that was like probably one of the most like difficult, you know, hurdles to get across, just because it was just so like, whoa, like a lot was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exactly. Something you can't prepare for too. And
for sure.
when you said chatting, was that through text, or was there, you did live streams, or how did that look?
Honestly, a little bit of everything. We tried to DM as many people on, like, for example, like we really like to use Instagram. It's like just like our kind of our main platform. And you know, we reached out to so many people, and we were lucky enough that we could, like, you know, talk on DM or through comments, through live streams, taking questions from people and seeing like, how are you guys doing? You know, because like we were openly sharing some of our experience at the time. I remember, because you know, it's tough for me to, like, I think I had written a song for like 2.5 months because I was just stuck. I tried like little things, and he said you can't get anywhere with it, because I was just not mentally, just wasn't in that zone yet. And
I also know, and I also know we also wanted to find a way to connect even more than like obviously through text. It kind of like loses that sense of like personal connection.
Right.
So we actually started like meeting with like many of our fans like on Zoom. Like we had actually do like many like Zoom calls
Oh,
'cause
very
we
cool.
wanted to, we wanted to have that like more personal like touch with them, and like just really get to know them like as like a kind of like a one-on-one connection.
Yeah, definitely.
And with that, we're trying to like also see what the fans want to hear, what the fans want to see, kind of help each other out there.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to get feedback, right?
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
Definitely.
I guess I didn't get an invitation for that, but maybe next year. I'm kidding. It was probably my fault for not booking one.
All good, man. That's all good. We're here now.
We're here now. Love it. Exactly. And I appreciate how open and honest you guys are in that. And I know you've all learned an incredible amount through COVID, I'm sure, but also just throughout the years of working together and working towards your music dream. I'd love to hear some of the biggest things you have learned and how they've helped you get to where you are today.
Definitely throughout the years of just trying to work at it, see how radio works, because it's really interesting how that works. How Spotify, how to get your songs placed on Spotify, how, at least from my side of things, how to design stuff, what apps do you use, what shortcuts you use, how to do a bunch of that stuff. Over the years, there was a bunch of learning, and lots of hours spending working at it.
Right.
The biggest thing is growing up and seeing how the industry can twist and turn and change in a blink of an eye.
Right.
And it was just a big growing up moment, really.
Definitely.
I know for the designing was huge, because 3-4 years ago I couldn't do much, so I went into YouTube and I did a bunch of courses. There's a bunch of learning. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was a terrible answer there. Sorry.
No, that was good. That was great. And did you learn about Spotify and about the radio mostly on the fly? And as you
So lots of videos, lots of online videos, and seeing information that fit with each other, information that seemed a bit off. Lots of surfing the web late at nights, going until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I know Donald has been really good on that, eh?
Whenever I get a message from Don, it's at about 4 a.m.
It's always
I'm up
three
pretty
of
late,
us, really. It's always 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
We don't sleep.
I can tell.
What did we learn? What did we learn over the years? Is there's no sleep. You don't sleep.
Sleep doesn't exist.
Coffee 24/7.
You gotta be ready to get like 2 hours of sleep and just run as hard as you possibly can for the full day.
Wow. Is that does your schedule look like that too, Rich?
Yeah, it's a bit all over the place. I'd say definitely a lot of late nights and a lot of early mornings. I'd say I think the biggest thing is like just kind of being flexible with your schedule and being like obviously like if you have a show, you gotta stay up and make sure you're like fully practiced for it. So
right.
And if you have an early morning the next day, you kind of we try to get to bed, I guess, a bit earlier, but
Just huck back the coffees in the morning. Right?
just a Red Bull to start the day. I mean, asking.
Honestly,
There
we
you
need
go.
to be sponsored by Tim Hortons at this point.
There you
Yeah.
go. What's your message to Tim Hortons right now? Put it out there.
Tim Hortons, your coffee is absolutely amazing. I can't live without it. I can't. My mornings are not the same without you. Please sponsor us.
You heard it here first.
Like at Tim
At
Hortons.
Tim, please put that on a shirt.
I need you.
You never know. They got Justin Bieber on board. I think Encore is next. I'll be an advocate for sure.
Yeah, I
What's
think
the slogan? I know they have
Tim Biebs is like
Tim Beeves.
Tibbs.
the Tim Biebs.
Encore X Tim's.
There you go.
Encore X Tim Hortons. Or
I'm trying to think.
We're
We'll be-
working it out for you to hear Tim Hortons. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, it's
Make
like
it
we're doing
happen.
this.
Saving them some
Your
time.
marketing team
Yeah.
doesn't have to worry about it. We're gonna take care of it right now.
There you go. You got Don, Dan, and Rich handling it. I'd also like to talk about, and Dan, you touched on this too, being that we grew up in the digital era, and you
Mhm.
guys grew up firsthand seeing how the music industry can change on a dime, and especially during COVID. And I'm curious to know, as an independent band, what do you believe could be better about the industry going forward to help independent artists and independent bands succeed?
it's really tough to say what we can change about the industry, because as much as you know about the industry, at the same time you don't.
Right.
The biggest thing, if it seems more than ever that now different platforms, different areas of the industry are very fast. They do something and they change it right away. And there's no possible way to know what's about to happen other than you just got to jump on the boat and see where it sails, and you got to learn. Whether it's 6 months of planning going to shred and you have to plan it out, you have to start all over, you got to do that. I'd love to have a huge insight into the industry, know everything. If I
Any
could
any
change, that would
specific
be it.
area?
Any specific area? I'd love to see how the festivals, considering like how the festivals come and go, because they seem that they have an insight into how to plan really well with the change and the rolling out of different stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anything to add, guys?
Do you want to take that one first?
I guess I can also say, what about the industry did you wish you knew when you were starting out?
You want to take this one? You can take it.
You go ahead.
All right. Honestly, like looking back, the biggest thing I think I would love to have known about the industry in its many different kind of areas, I would say the first thing I would have wanted to know right up the bat is like, what is the best way to approach people and what is your time? Because I think when you start off, my biggest thing was like, all right, guys, let's lock and load. We're going, like, let's just go. We're gonna hit the labels. 1 month in, we're gonna get like, I was like, let's just do it, right? And I think my mentality towards at the time was like, well, you know, why wouldn't they want us? We're awesome, you know. So it's like
Right.
my mentality, this was, you know, I was in high school, right? Like we started in high school, so I was kind of like immature and stuff, and you know, you don't really understand a lot of things. So I feel like what would be great, and so I like what you do, Mack, is because it's guidance. And I think that's what artists struggle with the most at the beginning of their careers is like, you don't know, like you just don't have that knowledge because
Right.
there's people who've been in the industry for longer than you've been born. So it's like, I remember like when I started, I met this one manager out of LA and Miami and stuff. And he was like 50 years old at the time. And I'm like this 19-year-old kid. And he's like, yeah, I've been here for like 30 years. Like, trust me when I say this. And I was like, I don't know why I should trust you, but like, I guess I will, because you don't understand. So you're going into it kind of blind. And I think the music industry would really benefit from something like that, where it's like the guidance, like that, like you're providing artists. And I think that's why it's so great, is because a lot of artists don't know when do you book a show on your own? What's your appropriate venue size? You know, how do I get placed in editorial playlists on Spotify or any other platform as well, right? Like when do I know if it's time to tour? Like, what's my marketing? What's my angle? What's my niche in terms of how I can present myself as an artist to the world the best way that I possibly can? I know that we took, I would say, about maybe 2 or 3 years to figure that out, because, you know, you release a couple songs and it's all good, but you really feel like maybe looking back, you could have done it in a different way if you had just had that seasoned experience can like help you and push you in the right direction. And that's what I think would really benefit like every artist. Because I know a couple of really new and young artists that are super hungry, really driven, and they're amazingly talented. And I think they could really do well if they had that, that just guidance, that kind of path shaping, shaping. So the path shaping that, a lot of artists I think don't have at the beginning. So
yeah, I think and I think to add on that too, I think in today's world of digital media, I think social media and even like an engaging online presence is so crucial for any artist, like no matter what genre they're in. And I think like obviously looking back at ourselves, as well as even like you see it too when artists start to come up, it's like you notice like key social media things that like you're like, oh, like they should like do this instead, or like, and especially looking back, like I think we looked back at our social media like a little while ago and you're like, oh, you're like, I wish we like did that instead, and just and obviously that's with everything, like just like personal reflection, but it's like I think especially with like developing a really high engaging social media presence is really crucial, especially for independent artists. Yeah,
for sure. I definitely agree with you there. And Dawn, there's one thing that I think it was you that told me some time ago, and I think it really attributes to Encore's success, which was that you told me a while ago that you had wrote, recorded, and produced a song or songs, I don't exactly remember. And then after all of that, you felt like they didn't fit the image or style of what Encore wanted to be. So you scraped them, scrapped them, and moved on to the next song. And that's something I admire, because you guys know what Encore is and what it wants to be. And that's something that we touched on earlier, that not a lot of independent artists, know what they want to do, or what their unique image is, or what the unique sound is. Do you have any advice for those artists, just to kind of pinpoint their uniqueness, or just embrace a trait they have, or just something to help them find that uniqueness?
Yeah, I honestly think, and for a long time I had a feeling of what I wanted to be. I was like, this is Encore X, right? And then you think that, and you can work towards, and that's all fine. I'm a big believer in like no time that you put really towards something you feel is right, that's not any time wasted. So with a lot of our songs, like we had recorded probably like enough music for 2 full albums, and not maybe a little bit less than that, but almost basically that. And we dropped probably like 85% of them because they just weren't the right feel for what Encore is trying to do. And I think for artists that are trying to find that path to like what is their sound, what is their vibe when they're trying to make music, and I think personally that the biggest thing for artists to think about when they're, especially during the recording stages, because that's where I believe that songs really become that's where they become kind of alive in a sense, because you can write a song on the piano or the guitar or whatever you write on, and it can be an amazing song. But if you think, for example, like Aerosmith, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, if the Chainsmokers produced that, it would be significantly a different song. And they would record it to sound like the Chainsmokers, whereas Billy Joel would make it sound like Billy Joel, and Aerosmith made it sound like Aerosmith. And I think when you're recording, that's when songs really kind of find their path. So looking at artists that inspire you, and looking at yourself to ask yourself, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to make slow songs that people can connect to when they're feeling down? Am I trying to make party songs that people are going to dance to in the club? What is the feeling that when I record this song that I want to feel? And is that the same feeling that I want to push out to every single person to make them feel the same way? And I think looking back, if I was to do that, I think we would have had all the songs we recorded probably would have been like on the same path, because it's like, if I kind of just recorded whatever came to mind, you don't really think about it too much. But I think if artists want to put that time into kind of like brainstorm, like, what am I feeling? What I want to resonate with our people when they hear my music and stuff like that. That's kind of, I think artists would benefit a lot from that.
I think that's great advice. Yeah. Rich or Dan, do you want to add anything to that kind of? I think you really hit the nail on the head there, though, Don.
Okay, cool. I think he smoked spit the facts right there. Honestly.
Spitting facts. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this and be, thorough, honest, and detailed in your replies. For those in which this may be their first time hearing from you, or even for your diehard fans, I know you recently released a single and it was on the radio today. Can you tell me more about it and what's next for Encore?
Yeah, for sure. So our most recent song is actually called California Nights. We actually wrote it while we were down in California, which I think is like kind of holds the magic behind the track.
Okay,
Just
for
because
sure.
it was so different for us than writing like back at home. But yes, it's our new single, California Nights. We debuted it today on radio actually, so that was definitely a really cool experience. And we definitely have some really good, really big projects coming up. So I'd say stay tuned. But just for a little sneak peek, I'd say a couple new songs coming, as well as some special little projects that we're also working on. And so throw a question your way, Mac, if that's okay.
Oh
with you.
wow, I don't know about that, guys. Hit me.
What do you want to see? What do you want to see from us next?
What do I want to see from you guys? I want to see a clothing line come out from Encore. You guys are always the best dressed. I want to see some clothing. I want to see you guys take this to the next level.
Did one of you guys show him the board? How does he know this?
Is it is it coming?
Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that.
No, it's good. It's good.
No, but is it like a surprise? Like, is it a surprise that you don't want people to know?
No,
that?
I think
it
it was
was just a
joking.
joke.
Yeah, just
Very
joking.
good.
Oh god, you guys are getting me, man. Oh man.
My
Well,
poker face is really good, huh?
this is going to be some editing for me now. Great.
This was a lot of fun though. Seriously, thank you for talking with us today and for allowing us to come on this podcast. We all really dig what you're doing, Mac, like with musician guidance. And
Thank you.
it's honestly, I think, like I was saying a couple questions ago, like I really do think that this is what artists need at the beginning and all the way through their career, is that guidance and that mentorship that's available now that wasn't available for artists like us when we started. So I think it's really important. Yeah, it's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And I'd like to give you guys one last chance to share some of your social media pages where our listeners can check you out on.
For sure. You can follow us on any social media handle. Our handle is like @thatband Encore. So you check that out. We're on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And if you look up on any of the streaming platforms, you can hear our music, including our brand new single, California Nights, which is out now. And yeah, we're excited to share some really cool videos that are on the way pretty soon. But yeah, hope you guys like what we're doing.
Well, I sure do. And I'm excited for what's coming. And I'll have those links in the description as well for you guys to just click on and go stream California Nights, follow them on Instagram, send them some love. Yeah, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on, and you're more than welcome to come back anytime at all. You have my number. I know you'll be texting me at 4 a.m. In the meantime, though, that is going to conclude this episode of Music Talks Encore. Once again, thank you for sharing all that you did. And for independent artists and independent bands listening in, I know it can seem like a long, windy road, but let Encore be an inspiration to yourself that if you stick with it, if you continue to learn, continue to network, and continue to involve yourself in the music business and work towards your journey, you will achieve it. Success follows hardships and setbacks, but you are already well on your way. Until next time, take care and keep making music.